That's right. Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here. And I am coming to you for the first time in quite a while, live in camera, on camera. And I'm wearing my, let me let you guys get a good view of this thing. It's all shiny. It's my Port Orleans Riverside pin. Very appropriate considering one of the themes of this project was to build a riverfront, like not a riverfront, but a water park in Port Orleans. Very much. I'm just stretching it. What the hell am I saying? I'm sitting here like, oh yeah, Port Orleans, very important to this project. No. Anyways, folks, here's how this is going to go. I am here to really just reveal my scores, and I'm going to give some brief commentary based around those scores. But the scores are what is the end all be all. You need to beat your opponent. And we have KMB versus Pixie Princess. We have Disney Dad versus Disney Man 1. Two big face-offs. I would say it's two big underdogs versus two people that have kind of quietly come into power positions in Disney Dad and Disney Man 1 being the power players, KMB and Pixie Princess being the underdogs. So no matter who wins here, we're still going to have a very interesting face-off in the final two. With that in mind, let's get to the first face-off. Let's get to Pixie Princess versus Disney Man 1, or I'm sorry, Pixie Princess versus KMB. Okay, so Pixie Princess, she did an animation resort, the Art of Animation Resort water park. Very, very, in terms of my scores, let's get into it. For creativity, like I said, folks, I only really have time to do commentary based on my scores. I'm going to do written reviews tomorrow, and I'm going to do a full-fledged podcast breaking down these projects in detail with Pi on Sunday. So wait for that. Sunday. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. I just dropped my microphone. Let me do an audio test. Hello? Okay, I should be fine. Hopefully. Now I'm paranoid, but anyways. Okay, so Pixie. For creativity, I gave you an 8 out of 10. It's not the most groundbreaking project in the world, but at the same point, it is very much in tune with something I could see Disney coming up with. Also, props for being the one innovator, or the one purist this round, the one person to do a pure and simple purist project. I really appreciated that. Unless Disney Dad's project is purist, that's the thing. I can't really tell with some of these because with the purist prompt, it kind of draws the line between purist and innovator. Detail with Pixie Princess, I gave her a 7 out of 10. I thought the detail could have been a little bit stronger here. She even admitted that she kind of had like a rough layout of the park. So basically she had like an idea for one slide per area. There wasn't really a whole ton to grasp onto here. Realism, however, I gave her a 9 out of 10 for because, it just seems like something that would happen. It would mold a lot of the IPs together. I especially like the idea that Cars would be the lazy river section because, let's face it, Cars is the least popular out of those 4 IPs. And for presentation, I gave a 9.5 out of 10 because it's not like, look, I think it was awesome that you got your family involved. So it's not like Space Mountain concept art where it's like super uber detailed and everything. However, at the same time, by the same point, presentation, that 9.5 is definitely for, it was really cool to kind of see this family project. And it's something that I've never seen in So You Want to Be an Imagineer before with the concept art. So I very much appreciated that. That was an awesome touch. And it really made your project stand out. It really felt like this was truly an armchair Imagineer project. So with that in mind, Pixie Princess, your grand total comes to 32.5 out of 40. All right, let's move on to KMB. KMB had a very interesting project in Glacier Bay. So creativity, I gave him an 8 out of 10 for this one. I was a little bit split on this, I will admit, because I wasn't crazy about KMB doing such a Guardian-centric project so quickly after the Star-Lord dance-off thing. I'm sorry, I don't remember the exact name, but you know what I mean. The awesome tacular dance. Awesome tacular. No, that's Jerry. What am I talking about? Awesome tacular is a Jeremy Johns thing, not a Guardians of the Galaxy thing. Oh, God. But regardless, you know what I'm saying. So creativity, 8 out of 10. I did like that there was a repurposed Blizzard Beach. I like that it was a park based around Arctic culture that's not just Blizzard Beach. That's all very interesting. And I do like the idea of an ice planet on Guardians of the Galaxy, basically like a Hoth equivalent for Guardians of the Galaxy. So that's all very good. Detail, 8 out of 10. I thought it was all very solid. Realism, 8 out of 10. Again, I think some of the things here, maybe I know, to tell you the truth, with realism, I just kind of felt like some of the IPs clashed, and also I'm not sure if the repurposed Blizzard Beach would be all that practical if you're reusing a lot of the same stuff. Like if you're reusing Summit Plummet and everything like that, I'm not sure how much Disney would want like a repurposed like part of a water park within the confines of another water park. And presentation, I gave a 9 out of 10 to, just because it's really, really solid reference photos, and also just the going above and beyond with the website. So in total, the total that he has to beat is 32.5 out of 40. KMB's grand total is 33 out of 40, which means Pixie Princess, man, I'm so sorry. By the end, this is the end of your run by 0.5. By 0.5, not even by a point, by a half a point, Pixie Princess. I want to just emphasize that. Pixie, you should be super proud of your performance this game. I very much look forward to seeing what you have to do in Sorcerer's Apprentice. I'm looking even more forward to seeing you compete in So You Want to Be an Imagineer Season 17 when that eventually happens. Pixie, you're a star player. I definitely think you're a very much kind of a textbook all-star in the underdog mold. So you're very much a fixture of the game. You very much kind of narrative-wise, you're a big character this season, and I very much appreciate that. KMB, congratulations. You've cemented your spot in the final two. So let's move on to the real... This was a brawl, guys. This was a straight up brawl. My God. So Disney Man 1 versus Disney Dad. This was huge. So Disney Man 1. Let's get to it. Creativity, this might be a little high, but I gave him a 10 out of 10, not for the idea of a pirate theme park, but how he did the pirate theme park. There's a lot I want to break out down with the podcast. I imagine this podcast is going to go like about an hour and 30 minutes long when I do it with Pi on Sunday. But I love that they're challenges and not just generic raft rides. Really, really captivating, great stuff there. Detail, I gave a 9 out of 10 to. I thought all of it was really well captured. Realism, I gave an 8 out of 10 to. Mostly because some of the scale of some of the slides maybe seemed a little off, but other than that, it was great. Presentation, solid reference photos, really solid throughout, but nothing that really went above and beyond. So for that reason, I went with an 8 out of 10 for presentation. And with that in mind, Disney Man 1 gets a 35 out of 40. So let's talk about Disney Dad. I feel like this project is very much Disney Dad kind of making up for the fact that he sort of got screwed over with the last project with presentation. He didn't get to live up to the full potential of what he had planned. This was Disney Dad just coming back swinging. And also, Disney Dad, you threw it out there that you wanted to be on the podcast, but by all means, man, I'm looking for new people. I'm looking for new blood to be on the podcast. So, yeah, please join me. I'd love to do maybe not this round, Disney Dad. What I'd love to do is I'd love to hold off until the end of the season and get a retrospective from you of all the projects. Maybe, maybe we could split that up into some parts. I don't know. You call me, I'll call you. My guys will call your guys. We'll get in touch. We'll be in touch. But anyways, I digress with Disney Dad. So the only thing with this is the creativity. I gave him an 8 out of 10. It's Star Wars, so he does good baseline Star Wars, but this is kind of like, you guys remember the French vanilla analogy that I had for some of the projects last time. This is very much a French vanilla project. It's vanilla, but it's a very rich, very creamy vanilla. It's a very satisfying vanilla in terms of, it's a baseline Star Wars project, but it does it really, really well. So detail, I gave a 9.5 out of 10 too. I thought detail was pretty much on spot the whole time. Maybe one or two things that he could have exemplified a little bit more. For example, this project kind of toes the line between purist and innovator. So I would have really liked to see it like actually like clarified. Disney Dad, please, is this a purist or an innovator project? I apologize if he mentions it somewhere. I admit I didn't have the chance to really take in these projects as much as I would like, but still. Okay, so realism, 9.5 out of 10. Maybe one or two things that, might have been a little too complicated to pull off in real life, but it's a Star Wars thing. I mean, Disney lives and breathes Star Wars. Star Wars prints money. Of course they're going to be into this. And finally, the big thing that sets Disney Dad's project above and beyond, the presentation, which I gave a cool 10 out of 10 to, just a solid 10 out of 10. Much like the creativity of Disney Man 1 slides, the presentation just really leapt off the page here. I love that we get the references for Sorcerer's Apprentice. One of the things that captured my imagination, pun intended, was the Dream Mountain, like basically like the imagination pavilion, but in mountain form. Disney Dad, if you have an idea for something like that, I'd love to hear that. And also, like, I kind of laugh because it sort of teases out what the next season's going to be. So with that in mind, folks, all I can say about the next project is that it's going to be a tease of season 17. It's going to be kind of like your first appetizer of what season 17 has to offer. So the final project of the season is called the Anniversary, or I'm sorry, not the Anniversary, the International Edition, just the International Edition. This is where we're going to tackle international Disney parks, and this is where you guys are really going to have to prove your mettle here. In the grand tradition of So You Want to Be an Imagineer, you're designing a whole park. Here's the deal. One of you will be designing a Purist park. One of you will be designing an Innovators resort. What do I mean by that? I want one of you to come up with a Purist park, not really worry about the fine-tuned details of the resort. But what I mean by a Purist park is come up with a hub and spoke wheel, like Magic Kingdom style park for a foreign country that does not have a Disneyland yet, and go above and beyond with it. Make it the best Purist park you can. Make it the definitive Magic Kingdom. You know what I mean? But it should incorporate that hub and spoke wheel design. It should incorporate the classic lands. You can play around with the lands if you want. Like, you can do Discovery Bay, you can do Mickey Avenue. I don't care about that, but it should be as baseline Magic Kingdom as you can make it. And for the Innovator project, what I want a Disney resort with no castle park. And I want you to do 2 parks, but no castle park. That's the innovator in you. That's what you have to come up with. You have to come up with a country and a brand and 2 parks that are going to sell this resort and that are not going to be Magic Kingdom style parks. That's going to be a challenge, but it offers a lot of opportunities. One of you is going to do a Purist project. One of you is going to do an Innovators project. How are we going to decide who does what? Well, that's going to be very simple. Because Disney Dad scored a 37 out of 40, and I'm sorry, I kind of jumped the gun on this. Disney Man. I'm an idiot, guys. I'm sorry. I'm really an idiot. Disney Man 1, great attempt, wonderful. Your project is still honestly among my favorites of the season. It's just you came up against a Goliath in Disney Dad, and Disney Dad was kind of like out for a vengeance after last project. So very, very formidable attempt, Disney Man 1. And definitively, you were a force to be reckoned with this season, but you leave the season in 3rd place, leaving us with a grand final 2 of Disney Dad 3000 versus KMB. Now, Disney Dad, you got 37 out of 40 versus KMB and his 33 out of 40. So I think it's only fair that Disney Dad gets to choose who does what. I think it's only fair that Disney Dad gets to distribute who gets the Purist project, who gets the Innovators project. That's Disney Dad's kind of like last, like immunity challenge award for winning this past round. So with that in mind, folks, we bid adieu to Pixie Princess in 4th place and a fond farewell to Disney Man 1 in 3rd place. And I can't wait to see what this final project brings about. I will be posting the scores imminently on the forum along with the prompt. And in the meantime, folks, thanks so much for watching. And remember, I'm going to have the written reviews out for you tomorrow, and I'm going to have the podcast with Pi on Sunday. So thanks for watching. Have a wonderful night. Stay well. Good night and good luck, because I'm saying that now for some reason.